Today started off as a positively wonderful day with the sun shining brightly, not a cloud in the sky, a gentle breeze passing by, the birds singing sweetly, these two strange flaming objects falling from the sky, the birds singing sweetly. Wow, what's that? Simba called, Ray already racing towards what looked like a blazing pile of metallic rubble. Wait, I called after him. Once again, I was left to be the royal babysitter, which meant that if the little gremlin burned up in smoke, Mufasa would make sure or would be the next in line. And I don't mean next in line to be king. I reluctantly followed. Not to say that I wasn't equally interested in the extraterrestrial object. It's just what I value in life. Look at this! The furball stared in awe as flames began to recede, revealing the astounding winged contraption of the size of a hippo. No, don't touch that! I yelped in alarm as the blundering imbecile extended his paw to touch the thing. As being the obedient cub he was, he shook his heed of my advice and cautiously drew back. Well, of course I'm being sarcastic. Ah! He shrieked, and still at the hot surface seared his paw. Then he took heed of my advice and cautiously drew back. Just in case, in time too, only a few seconds later, a scorched panel fell to the ground with a heavy thud, sending sparks in our direction. The panel revealed a dark cave-like cavity, unlike anything I had ever laid my eyes on. The walls were even, thin, and level like the still waters of a pond, yet retaining surreal metallic sheen. But what really mainly drew my attention was brightly furred creature popped out in an oddly shaped ledge and some other bizarre contraption that flashed with red lights. Judging by their interness, the blood trickling down their foreheads, I doubt that they would pose any danger. Yet, though, it would be best to approach them with caution. Is it dead? Simba asked, huddling behind me while he tentatively licked his paw. Don't touch it. You don't know where that's been, I told him. Ew, why would I touch a dead thing? That's gross. So we're gonna check it out, or what? A winged cave that fell from the sky is no place for young cubs. Come on, Uncle Scar. What if there's really something cool inside? I bet Dad would let me go in. Somehow I highly doubt it, I sighed. We aren't just gonna leave it here, are we? He went on. That is exactly what we're going to do. If you have a problem with that, go write a letter, I replied. I can't write and you can't read, he retorted. What's your point? It's not fair, the precocious cub complained. Life's not fair, and you have to live with that fact, just like the rest of us. I'll do whatever I want, and you can't stop me. Well then, by all means, go ahead and get yourself killed. Feel free to scream in pain while you burn alive. I doubt you'll do much good. Oh yeah? Well, Dad says you'll have to look after me, and that means you're coming too. Really? I could always tell Mufasa you were a naughty little boy who wouldn't listen to his uncle found him in a world of trouble. Tragically, there was nothing I could have done to save him. That's lying. What's your point? Simba said nothing, responding only with a pestered glower. I knew it would be impossible to convince him to leave the darn thing alone. He was so used to getting his way all the time, it turned him into a positively uncontrollable child. If his parents didn't spoil him rotten, it would have made my job a lot easier. All right, I'm coming, I replied. I hesitantly tested the floor of an otherworldly cave before taking the first step inside. Unlike the outer shell, it was mildly cold and so presumably safe to walk on, allowing me to take another step. The cavity seemed much bigger from the outside. The cramped space gave me an unsettling feeling that made me doubt that wandering inside it was such a great idea. Before I could adjust to the surroundings, I caught a sight of Simba prodding open a door on the back side of the cave. I was about to protest when, "Wow, what are those?" he exclaimed. Would the surprise never end? A grand assortment of various objects was piled inside the cave's compartment. Many of them resembled a miniaturized lump version of creature we found, except he had red fur and disorderly white mane. Others looked like an odd black and white birds or gazelle with disordered horns. They all lay motionless while their glazed eyes stare at us with vacant expressions. Simba bit onto one of the plump red ones and then spat out in disgust. The whole thing fell back into a pile, bearing a set of teeth marks. Tastes like dirt, he complained. If they were so plentiful, delicious, and easy to catch, they wouldn't be here, would they? I remarked. Yeah, I guess so. Let's go home now. This place sucks, he said, rather crestfallen. He likely had his hopes on finding a treasure trove of fresh kill, as if it would ever happen. About time, I replied gladly, exiting out the cave. Once we returned, Simba gave everyone a full recap of the whole day's events, and of course sparked their interests, and so the pride was laid to the contraction. I also decided to come along just to see how they would react to such thing. It is so to make them fly, so because they have no wings, it carries them in its belly, the monkey explained, referring to his extensive knowledge of just about anything. No one knew where he got these facts, but he was right often than not. I suppose he had a lot of connections to be well informed, unlike mine who knew little more than what I told them. Where did they come from? Sarabi asked. They are not from around here, but I heard that there are many. They live far away from the Pride Lands, so they are rarely seen. I cannot tell you why they have come. Even I do not know the answer to that, Rafiki replied. But after seeing another small motionless creature inside, the monkey was able to give us more of an explanation. The smaller creatures inside the compartment were not creatures at all, but toys and ornaments made for special occasion called Christmas. They must have been delivering them somewhere before the giant shiny bird thing crashed, Nala added, the furball's bothersome companion. Likely so, Mufasa spoke. So what are we going to do with it? You are the king. The choice is yours, said Rafiki. Wouldn't it be awesome if we celebrated Christmas? We don't get nearly enough holidays, Simba offered, looking around for approval. Yeah, it'll be so much fun, Nala cheered, bouncing with glee. Christmas in the savannah? I've never heard such thing more absurd, I protested, kicking aside a glass sphere filled with white powder floating around the miniature box-like cave. I don't see why not, Sarabi smiled, nuzzling her son. Can we, Dad? Simba pleaded. But Simba, we don't even know what we're supposed to do on Christmas, Mufasa told him, hoping his son would not be too disappointed. Look over here, Nala called, dragging behind her what looked like a large, brightly colored, leaf-cut-like square. These creatures sure love their straight edges and right angles, Zazu remarked, settling on Nala's shoulder to get a closer look. A leaf picture showed pictures of creatures crowding around the prickly-looking tree decorated in colorful spears and ornaments. Quite peculiar scene, the bird concluded. This poster represents Christmas, is a holiday about giving and spending time with family, Rafiki clarified. And those boxes under the tree? They are gifts to be opened on. Oh joy, just what we need. More family fun. I rolled my eyes. Yeah, sounds like a bit cliche, don't you agree, sire? Zazu addressed the king. Well, I think it's a lovely idea. I'm sure the kids would really enjoy it, Sarabi spoke up. Then it's decided. Tomorrow the whole pride shall be celebrating its first Christmas, Mufasa announced. Tomorrow, can't we celebrate it today? Simba asked. But what about presents? I don't think I'll be able to find you one in just one day, the king told his son. Okay, Dad. Come on, Nala, let's go look for presents. Then we're going to find one for everyone. The furball called to his friend and they both set off, but this time Zazu was the one who had to follow them around. I knew I would regret looking about the great contraction, but now that I was left with another tiresome task that I could possibly assign to my dim-witted cronies. Let me get this straight. You want us to find presents for the entire pride of Manji Lions? Shenzi looked quite discontent. That's right, so you better get to work, I replied. You're so weird, Scar. What made you turn all nicey-nice, huh? Banzai asked. Let me explain it again. This stupid errand was forced upon me by an idiot of a king, and now I'm forcing it upon you. I hope I won't have to hear any objections. Oh, that explains everything. Hey, why are we stuck doing it? What is in it for us? Do you need to be persuaded? I grabbed him by the neck and dangled him over the towering escaped some, which upon he reluctantly stood. No, I'm good, he replied nervously. I thought you would have had a change of heart, once you get a push in the right direction. I smirked and eyed the ground below what could be a nice long way down for a filthy, disobedient scavenger. So where do you expect us to find this stuff? Asked Shenzi. Be creative. I know you'll think of something. Creative. I got nothing. How about you, Shenzi? Banzai asked. Ditto, Ed? She glanced at Ed, who nodded his head excitedly before running off. Followed closely behind the two hyenas, they swiftly returned to the bundle of decaying skulls and bones that they have laid down before me. This is good enough for ya? Said the female of the trio. I suppose so. I doubt you could do better. I picked up one of the bones and threw it back into the pile. They could even make nifty hats. Banzai placed the shattered gazelle skull on his head and one on Ed's. Now all this remains is hollering over the Pride Rock without being noticed. I suggest you do it once it gets dark. It had finally come morning, awaited Christmas morning. Mufasa gathered the Pride for the main event. Starting things off with such a redundant speeches we're all learned to love. Welcome everyone. I'm so glad you've all decided to come to this special occasion, the Pride's first Christmas. How could we miss it? I grumbled. I'm just not a morning person, I'm lion. Before we start the gift exchange, I would like to thank everyone very dear to me for bringing us together a day of celebration. His good cheer had always managed to put a smile on everyone's face and brighten my day. I'm sure you'll agree that our family just wouldn't be the same without him. And without further ado, oh Muffy, put your brother on the spotlight, You shouldn't have, I grinned, rather surprised by the gesture. What? Well, actually, I was referring to, Simba, he said awkwardly. Yes, of course, I sighed. Simba. What isn't about Simba? Which is not to say that you weren't his jolliest uncle, Mufasa quickly added. Funny, I rolled my eyes. I thought I was his only uncle. That too, he remarked. Dad, can we give out the gifts now? Please, Simba whined. Good idea, son. Let's make a circle, everyone, the king addressed his pride. What's with him in circles? As if the circle of life wasn't enough, I thought to myself. Scar, why don't you go first? You did get gifts, didn't you? Here, enjoy. Oi. I threw a skull at him. It bounced twice before throwing it to the ground beside him. Mufasa held it up in his paw, bearing a rather sour look on his face. What's this, leftovers from last night's dinner? He spoke. Well, if you don't like it, give it back, I told him, already making my way around the circle, handing out skulls and bones. I couldn't help but smile as I heard the Pride's discontent whisper. Hopefully this would be the first and last Christmas. I knew this holiday was a joke, but when did everyone ever listen to me? Now that the rest of the royal family would like to distribute some gifts, I hope you all enjoy. Sorry, Scar, that you weren't in on it. We looked everywhere for you last night as if you disappeared from the Pride Lands or something, Mufasa remarked. Yes, well, isn't that just pity? I tried to hide my discontent. A perfectly good evening wasted by gathering skulls with many scavengers. I could have been sleeping, or plotting a murder, or even thinking of a new hobby. Okay, so what if I didn't have anything better to do? It's still a waste of time. The oversized furball and his son emerged from their cave carrying their queer things I saw in the cave that crashed from the sky. Now, how appalling. They didn't even look like for them, and I could have just taken those. Here you go, Uncle Scar. Simba gave a shiny glass sphere filled with white powder of some sort. Oh, you shouldn't have, I forced a smile. Really, you shouldn't have. No problem. You glad you like it, he cheered, moving on to a lioness seated beside me. After everyone exchanged gifts, I was left with a wide assortment of useless knickknacks, but I had to admit, Muffy's were the most impressive. How could I compare something that fell from the clouds when that was made from the creatures that none of us had never ever laid our eyes on? So what do we do now? Is Christmas over? Nala asked. Finally, I thought of something that would never end. I was about to leave when the glittering light in the sky caught my attention. It was a shooting star making its way across the heavens. Wow, isn't this a magical evening? As if it weren't Christmas, we wouldn't be out here to see that, said Serafina. It is beautiful, is it? I sat down beside her, me and her dazzling sapphire eyes. Yes, she replied, leaning against me. And that, my pretties, was the Lion King Christmas special, a Lion King fanfiction Christmas story written by SandStonesSilk. Now, this story was made back in 2007, so I definitely do have to say, it was 18 years ago. And I know this author has not even uploaded a story since 2011, so I definitely do have to say it's a really interesting story. I personally do enjoy this a whole lot. I thought it was really neat. I thought it was well done. It's just a really great story. I mean, I did notice that there were a couple of grammatical errors and a few punctuation errors, and I did notice some spelling errors here and there in the story. But I can understand this is an older story, so I'm willing to give the author a benefit of the doubt. Like, I mean, to be honest, this story has aged, so I mean, he or she's probably writing better stories, reads that I don't even know of. But I can say this is a really amazing story. It's the point of view of Scar, which is pretty interesting. So, as you may know, Scar is one of my favorite villains from, Disney, which, of course, Scar is one of my favorites next to Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. This one, I definitely do have to say, is a really good Christmas story. And, animals, like, I know there's some countries that don't celebrate Christmas. I know there's some countries that don't celebrate Christmas. But this is actually a really special story. I personally enjoyed this a whole lot. It's a really good and well made, and I definitely do have to say it's a really enjoyable story. Now, I definitely do have to say is that, the grammatical errors can be fixed, and same with the punctuation errors, but I definitely do have to say is it's still readable. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really neat and well done. So, I guess with that being said, and with that being the case, like I'm always going to say, this is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you disagree with it, that's perfectly fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these stories. This is just simply my own personal thoughts. I give this story a 10 out of 10. It's a really interesting story, despite the grammatical errors, punctuation errors, and a few spelling errors. But this story was actually still readable, and it was really neat, so I really enjoyed it. So, with that being the case, and with that being said, what did you guys personally think of this story? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm Shadow the Lion Queen. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and if you're new to my channel, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. As always, if you guys want to go follow me on Blue Sky, follow me on Twitter, follow me on DeviantArt, and follow me on my backup channel known as Miss Dark Shigo, as links to those will be in the About page section, so you guys can go follow me on there. And as always, I will be catching you guys all in the next video. Peace out, and like always, roll the outro, because I'm out.
What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload, so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please stay pretty.